Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, and subscribe. I said often, y'all, we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at AMD. We closed at $200.15. And it looks as if, I always go to the 30-minute chart. I say it often. It just tells a story I like to read, right? So looks as if we came down and we bounced off of this 195.89. Y'all see that's kind of close to an area that I have marked around that 196.64 area. That is our support, or was the support area. From there, we came up, got rejected, only to come back down to this area here. I'm going to mark that only because price is gathering there for a reason. And y'all, it held us right where the body of those candles are. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it came to this area at least 5 or 6 times, but the body of the candles are there, about 4 times. So I need to remember that, right? So where are the trouble places for AMD today, right? To the upside, we will need to get back above. I have the level of 198.66, breaking that level 196.07. And should we break that 199.81, breaking the 199.81 for AMD, we could possibly have trouble again, $200.48. Should we break the $200.48, y'all see that 200 EMA. It's right there at a level that I have around the 201.54. So breaking the 201.54 means we've broken through the 200 EMA on the 30-minute chart, right? Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again, 202.03. And should we break that today for AMD, possibly 202.90, and breaking that 203.79. So those are possible areas of resistance for AMD today. Now back to the downside, we will need to break under this level we just marked here, 197.15. Should we break that, we could very well come back and find support again at that 196.64, and breaking that for AMD today, 195.67. Should we break the 195.67, we could very well come back to around the 193.82. Keep in mind, we could very well get held up, stopped out, find support anywhere in this area here. So from the 195.67 down to the 193.82. Now, breaking the 193.82, we can come back to around the 190.150 and find support there. But keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out again anywhere between this area here. So breaking that 190.150 today for AMD, 190.65 could be a support area. And should we break that, we could very well come back to 189.01. Again, we can get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So if you are trading AMD today, I said often, y'all, mark your levels. Once it goes against your why or your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? Get out. So we are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 189.82. It seems here that we bounced off of this low of 187.04, tried to make its way back to the upside here, got rejected, came back only to move us a little bit higher. So it looks like pre-market as of now, 190.87 is a resistance area for us. I'm going to mark that here, right? So back to the upside. Where are the trouble places? Again, we will need to cover or clear that 190.87. However, breaking that 191.04, 191.30, and if we break that 191.30, the next level I have is around 192.20. Not financial advice, right? So breaking that 192.20, we could possibly have trouble again, 192.50. But keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out. Let's go back from this 190.87 up to the 192.20. Anywhere in this area here. So if you're trading NVIDIA today, those are just possible areas. Now, let's say we break the 192.50. The next level I have is around 192.95, 193.23, and breaking the 193.23, possibly 193.68, 194.03. If we should break that 194.03, I've had this 194.50 area marked as a resistance area for a while. So that could be an area of resistance resistance for us for NVIDIA today. Again, not financial advice. Now let's look back to the downside. Let's say we break under this area here of 190.44. We can come back to around the 190.06. Should we break the 190.06, y'all see the 20 EMA is right there at a level that we have marked. I just love to see it very close to it, right? 189.60. Breaking that 189.60, y'all see price was here. We can come back to 189.28, find support there. If we break that level, 188.92 could be a support area for us for NVIDIA today. However, breaking that 188.43, and as we break that 188.43, keep in mind there's a few layers of support down. You can see price just gathered in this area. So there's a few layers of support from 188.43 down to the ATR trail and stop 200 EMA. There's a lot of support down to that 187.90 for NVIDIA. So let's say we break from, the 188.43 down to the 187.90. Breaking that, meaning we broke through a few layers of support. We could very well come back to around 187.48, 187.11, and breaking that 186.85, breaking the 186.85, 186.23. Those are support areas for NVIDIA. As of right now, again, not financial advice. I say it so often, y'all. Make sure that you have a plan before going into the trade, and once it goes against your why or your plan or your get out, right? So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 655.96, and it seems like we came down, found support at this 200 EMA. Y'all see it's kind of right close to some areas that we have marked. I love to see this, right? Let me make sure we can see it right there. I love to see this. Now the support as of now, at the time of recording this video, it is pre-market, right? So 650.02 and resistance around 651.55. However, breaking that 653.01. Should we break that 654.04? Breaking that 655.22. If we break the 655.22 area for NVIDIA or Meta, we're on Meta, we could very well have trouble again around breaking the 655.22. We could very well come back to the 657.64 and breaking that 658.72. Breaking that 658.72 next level is somewhere around the 659.89. Those are possible areas of resistance. Again, not financial advice, right? So let's look to the downside for Meta today. Under 650.02, we can come back to around 649.20. Back at this 200 EMA or 648.05, and breaking that today 646.99. Now should we break that 645.83 down to the 644.99, there's a few areas of support here. So breaking that for Meta today, we could very well come back to 643.98, 643.20, and then down here at 642.60 and breaking that 641.98. So there's a few layers of support for Meta. Again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are, right? So I say it often, y'all, it's whatever works best for you, and then having the strategy or coming up with the plan that works best for you, right? So we are now looking at the SPY. We closed at 689.43, and y'all see we've been getting rejected at this 688.23, which is where our ATR trail and stop, and a level I have at 688.15. I love to see it. Support is down here where I have marked at 685.58, really close to that 200 EMA. So there's a few layers of support in between, let's say, this line and this line, right? So where are the trouble places for the SPY as of right now? Above 687.57, again, have trouble. Again, we could possibly rephrase that, possibly have trouble at the 688.15, breaking the 688.15, possibly 688.91, again, 689.45, and 689.43, 689.83, yes, which is kind of in this area here. So should we break that for the SPY today, we could very well come back to 690.89. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here for the SPY. I said often, not financial advice, right? So breaking that, the next level 691.22. So those are possible areas of resistance for the SPY. So let's say we break under, because it's so many layers of support here, all the way down to the 685.58. Why? Because price has been in this area here, right? So breaking under the 685.58 for the SPY, we can come back to 685.21. Again here at 684.88, 684.47, 684.27. And should we break that level, 683.75, breaking that 683.23, 682.96, and should we break that 682.73, breaking the 682.73 for the SPY, which breaks us under a few layers of support, we could very well come back to the 682.12 and find support there. Keep in mind, y'all, I said often in this market, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. What's important is marking your levels and making sure you kind of know where your possible trouble places are. And I said often, the market does what it does, right? It does what it wants to do, as with Tesla. Tesla does what Tesla does. We are now looking at Tesla. We closed at 411.82. And as you can see, it too has found support down here at this ATR trail and stop around. I have the 406.57, and y'all see how close we are to that. I love to see that, right? Just support and resistance. Support and resistance. It's marking your left guard. I go to the gathering spot or the consolidation area, and I mark those areas. Why? Because strong possibility price is going to come back to that area again. Just wanted to point that out. So as of now, we're going to say support is around this level of 406.62. We can say resistance is possibly at the 409.03. Let's rephrase that. So support again here is at 406.57. We can say resistance is at 409.03. However, if we want to look at it on a smaller scale, we can use that 20 EMA, which is the 408.10 as a resistance area. So breaking back above that 408.10, we could then have trouble at 409.03 for Tesla. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble 410.01. Breaking that level for 1058, the next level for 1143, which is close to our 200 EMA. So breaking that level, we could very well have trouble again for Tesla around the 412. For some reason, that 412 was a strong area of support here. And for some reason, I remember that 412. So it was a strong support. It's now a strong resistance area for us. So breaking that for Tesla, wait, not financial advice. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again for 1297, 413.75, and again here at 414.99 or that 415 area. So if you're trading Tesla to the upside, those are possible areas of resistance. Now, breaking the 415 area, the next level I have marked is the 416.56. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out or, find some trouble anywhere in between this area. And I say it again, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So with that being said, looking to the downside under the 406.57, we can come back to around the 404.80. I remember that as well for 412. 428.60 and 422.22. Those are just numbers that I remember for Tesla because it's been strong areas of support and or resistance, right? So under the 404.80, we could very well come back to 403.68, breaking that level 402.54. Should we break the 402.54, y'all see there's a few layers of support, 402.11, 401.32, $400.56. Those are just levels that we can come back, find support from this level to this level. There's a few layers, right? So under the $400.56, we could very well come back to 398.09. And should we break that 398.09, keep in mind there's a few layers of support down here to the 396.66. Breaking that level, the next level 394.96, which kind of puts us close to that 200 EMA, I believe, on the daily chart. So if we should break this level, which is a few layers of support, we could very well come back down to that 394.96. Again, not financial advice. And I wanted to point out that from this level, $400.56, down to the 390 198.09. We could very well get stopped out anywhere in that area. Why? Again, I say it again, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? Not financial advice. So y'all, this is what I see when I look at the market. I say it so often, y'all, there's so many different ways to trade the market. And what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, meaning get in when it's time to get in and get out when it's time to get out based on the plan that you have, right? So I hope that everyone have a very profitable day, a very, very productive day as always, right? So again, if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. I say it often, we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.